And we are live. Good morning, everybody. The 18th of March, 2018. Missy Jen, we're getting very close to spring here, the official beginning of spring.
Yes, I can almost feel it in the air.
Yeah, I think we have an appointment down at UCSF on Wednesday. See, Wednesday is either the first day of spring or Thursday. And I'm always very excited because I feel like the season's like in wintertime. I feel like it's a plane gone down a runway. And come March 20th, 21st, we finally get airborne a little bit and off the ground and gone towards great NorCal weather. Hey, Keith Gregory,
Hi,
nice
Keith.
to see you. Pipe Keith Gregory aboard. Here we go. Always nice to see you, Keith. Good morning, RV Radio. Nice to see you.
Radio.
Always a pleasure to see you. Good morning to you, and good morning to all of you. It's a really nice day today. I'm trying to get videos back on track. Try to put this stomach thing behind me that really did incapacitate me in a major way. It's had dramatic knock-on effect for Jen for sleeping, and the quality of her life is it's been awful the last week. I was good Sunday, and then when I woke up, about 2 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning last week, all hell started breaking loose in my stomach. I'm hoping now the nights aren't perfect yet, but things are moving in a better direction, and it's all good. So yesterday I tried to get on track. I wanted to do a little baking again, and we knocked out a really nice cinnamon oatmeal raisin bread here, and I thought this morning we would have a little go at this and a taste of that. Let Missy Jen smell that. There we go.
Delicious.
And one of the great things about quick bread is you don't have to have rising yeast and wait hours and multiple rises to get something nice to eat. You can pretty much stir all your ingredients together with a bit of baking powder, throw it in a loaf pan, and enjoy. And there's nothing I enjoy in wintertime more than spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and things like that. So RV Radio says, viewing from Quartzsite, Arizona. Have a great day. RV Radio, we were down in Yuma and Algodones, Mexico, down there. So it was an interesting place to say the least for Jen and I. And
lots of dentists and eye care places.
Yeah, it's one of those places. As we return, hopefully to winter in Florida next season, we'll be able to spend a couple days in Yuma. We won't be on such a pace to get to Florida because we'll be down there. Yeah, Keith Gregory. Good morning, MB. Nice to see you, beautiful. Keith Gregory says, Rosie, been watching March Madness. Keith, I don't think anybody's bracket survived the first round of the NCAA tournament because my pals at University of Maryland, Baltimore County campus knocked off Virginia, and I think that destroyed 99.99% of all cards in America. A lowly little satellite school of the University of Maryland. Those guys were putting down three-point shots like there was no tomorrow. But you got to understand, there's people that play basketball that have tremendous native skills in places like Baltimore. They walk out of some of these high schools, Dunbar, Northern High School, Polytechnic, they just play like demons. They're not recruited. They don't get scholarships. They just walk in and just, hey, let's play some basketball. And the coach, very easy schedules. And all these guys can do is just shoot the lights out and stuff. And I think some of the big teams need to understand that some people have high native skill level and have cut their teeth on the inner city asphalts of places like Baltimore, and it makes them tough as nails. So I think that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. So we got a little butter softened here. We're going to go ahead and cut this up. So I've enjoyed that. Hi, Mister. Nice to see you, sweetie. I'm going to cut a nice big.
How's the weather in Missouri?
Chunk of that for Missy Jen. You can see how beautifully that slices. It is chock full of raisins in there. Grows real nice. I'm going to cut a couple slices for Jen. And if she chooses to butter them up, give that to her. I know she's hungry. We've been up for hours. I had to do another video.
Hi,
George, you better get down there. Hey, Yujiro, nice to see you. Semper Fi, my friend. There's the pride of the Marine Corps, Yujiro Hama. Yeah, Hanma. Yeah, I always wonder if I say that right or not. So Missy Jen's going to put a little butter on that, but that sliced up beautifully. I think quick breads, I think it's always nice to make something special for Sunday morning, for the weekend, to have something to enjoy. Chock full of raisins, cinnamon, all that goodness. I'm feeling a little better, Yujiro. Every day the period of discomfort shrinks. I now measure from about maybe 2 a.m. to about 5 a.m. in the morning is peak period of discomfort. But you know, I'm on that prescription Pepsid every day, and I think that's helping to close that hole that I had in my stomach.
Rough night last night.
Yeah, last night was a rough night because I did drink a couple beers.
And it was a rough night for both of us.
Yeah, so there's always a knock-on effect, unfortunately, for Missy Jen. So Missy Jen, why don't you go ahead and sample your quick bread? Here's your, I got you a little napkin here for you.
Thank you, honey.
There you go. So we'll let Jen, yeah, it's going to be delicious, Yujiro. So, and let her have a bite of that and enjoy all the, that
nice and fluffy.
Yeah, and if you guys don't make quick breads, they really are the bomb. They're so easy to make. And
very flavorful.
Kind of nice with the butter on it. To butter it up
nice with the butter on it.
Hi, Sean, and nice to see you,
Shauna.
sweetie. So I'm gonna
very delicious. It's
cut myself a couple pieces here of our quick bread.
The icing on top, it brings a nice touch to it.
Yeah, we have put a nice glaze on top of that.
Glaze on that, yeah.
Nice little vanilla glaze on there. So a nice quick bread. I really enjoy baking, and I really like making something nice for Sunday morning, Saturday or Sunday mornings that we can enjoy here on the Rancho. And I think quick breads are really the way to do that. And I have the recipe from the video yesterday down in the description box if you'd like to do it yourself. It's not terribly difficult. Like most things baking, it's all about technique, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So yeah, thank you, Sean. I don't really have any. I just got some lipstick on, and she's the makeup queen. I'm just you know, the rough and tumble girl that
Yeah, you don't want to see me without makeup.
It's funny, Sean. I remember the day Nicole came on, and she saw me putting some powder on my face out of one of those little powdered containers, and I don't know anything about makeup. And I'm taking that little fluff thing that you put the powder on, and I'm rubbing it. And Nicole's like, "Don't rub, Rosie. Dab." I had to laugh so hard about that. So what do you think, Missy Jen? You enjoying your quick bread?
Very good. Nice flavor of the raisins. That slight hint of vanilla from the well, I'm actually pretty fast with my makeup. I put on my eyeliner, pencil in my brows, and then I take the liquid foundation, put it on everywhere, cover up all the imperfections, and then I take the powder, and I actually will just take a brush and then brush on the powder. And that's all I do, and then I put on a lipstick occasionally.
Sean says, I like to soak my raisins in rum before I add them to the bread. So yummy. Yeah, I think that would give a definite bang. Some people like to use golden raisins too. I always just grab the traditional California raisins. They seem to work out pretty good.
Mhm.
The trick is with these breads that a lot of people, they don't strive to have balance in the flavor. When you have balance in a quick bread, it means that no particular flavor dominates the profile. So if you're
Yeah, if you had rum in here, then the rum would probably overpower
or if you have
the
too much,
flavor.
I was thinking particularly about cinnamon, too much cinnamon or too much nutmeg, especially clove is an extremely powerful. People put clove in and they measure it out in the same quantities as nutmeg or cinnamon, much to their regret. The clove is an extremely powerful spice, and cinnamon can be like that. If you can overpower bread so that all you really get is a bite of cinnamon taste, and the important thing is to achieve balance. And I think that's one of the things that these people do is when they develop these recipes, Jen, they try to achieve a balance in the flavor. So when you go put the glaze on top, you get the glaze in the bite that's on the top, obviously, but you're not
That's
going to have a
right.
vanilla flavor throughout. You're going to have that cinnamon flavor. So the balance is really, really important. The other thing is it's got to cut well too, and it's got to have a certain amount of eye appeal when you
It's got the
put it.
perfect consistency too.
Yeah. So I think that's really an important element. So I hope you're all having a good day today. Seemed like a quiet. I think everybody was up on Kat's and Dave's hangouts all night last night.
Everybody was doing a night shift, eh?
I should be so lucky to
The night shift.
be Elvis with everybody talking
The
about
night
me all
shifters.
night. I thought to myself, man,
Yeah, he's
you know.
so he's become quite a celebrity.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to try it out, the recipe is in the link of yesterday's video on the Rosie O'Kelly channel. You can see the link to the recipe. But just talking about that day after day, just it gets my boring hat on. I just can't really take that anymore.
It loses its appeal.
Yeah, just I don't know. For me, I ended my hangout at 9 o'clock. After about 4 hours, my stomach started flaring up, and I was like, that's enough. That's enough for me tonight. I don't want to push it. I had a couple beers, and they kind of backfired on me last night too. So, Shauna said I'm worn out on hangouts. Yeah, just for me, I finally came to the conclusion a month or so ago that nothing's ever going to change. That you can talk about somebody all you want, but at the end of the day, they get terminated. They just start a new account. They just have PayPal. It ain't ever going to end,
I quit watching.
So all it becomes is a channel building exercise for the people that are having the hangouts, because they realize that nothing's ever really going to change. So, the sooner you realize that kind of stuff, the better. But it's always good, I think, when you do your own thing on YouTube.
That's right. Creative content.
Be creative.
Do your own thing, your own material. Talk about yourself. Talk about your own businesses.
So this Friday night, I think I'm probably going to be feeling up to snuff. I think we're going to make what's called a Montreal cheesecake, which is probably the most complicated cheesecake that you can make on planet Earth. The presentation is phenomenal, but the cake ends up being, hey, Carl,
Hi,
that's
Carl.
right. Nice to see you. Carl's like, you got that right. The only thing I can change is myself. I can control who I let into my head, exactly. But, Elvis just seems to dominate so many people's heads, and as every month goes by, I find myself talking about Elvis less and less, and being on hangouts. And it's almost like you feel released to go back to doing your own content and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of liberating in a way. But this Montreal cheesecake ends up being 5 pounds, Missy Jen. It's a 5-pound cake. And it's probably the richest cake on planet Earth. It uses, obviously, cream cheese. It uses two cups of whipping cream, the heaviest cream that you can have. It uses a cup of honey.
Oh, man.
I mean, it is an enormous cake, and it has a pastry sides and bottom to it. So it's going to be quite challenging, but it's going to be fun to make that. And with Easter coming up, you know, you can enjoy that. I think when Missy Jen first got here, the first cake I made was the coconut layer cake. Remember that beautiful fluffy coconut Southern style coconut cake. It was. Hey, Joseph Kane, nice to see you.
Hi,
We saved you a piece, mate, right there.
Yeah, we saved you a piece.
Yep. Jen, you want another piece of the?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, all good. Okay, so it is filling. You put a little bit of butter on that.
Yeah. 2 pieces. It's delicious, Joe. It's absolutely delicious. Yeah, come here.
It's a very tasty quick cake, and I really like quick breads because they're so easy to make. If you get your ingredients together within literally 5 minutes, it can be in the loaf pan and baking up, and you have something that's really great and something very tasty for the weekend. So, Carl, I hope you're doing good. Nice to see you this morning. Happy Sunday in Ohio there. We got Joseph Kane down in Western Australia. Sean, I'm not really sure which area of the country that you're in, honey. I forget which area of the country. I want to say the Northwest, up in Seattle area. I'm not really sure. I'm probably dead wrong. Oh, Massachusetts. Okay. Joseph Kane says, looks nice. How you feeling today? Better every day.
Had a hellacious night, but doing good, but much better today.
Yeah, nighttime is really trying because when you're laying flat and all of a sudden you have that bloating feeling, it's extremely difficult to sleep with that feeling of fullness. But that time is kind of shrinking now. And I think as that prescription Pepsid cuts in now, Missy Jen, I think that hole is healing in my stomach because that hole was allowing, there was just acid just constantly around the clock pouring into my stomach that was just wreaking havoc with eating and things. It just, I never had something like that. George, are you happy? Happy today? You ready to get on the road again? Huh? George is like, wherever you guys go, I'm there, man.
Even George, where you going, George?
Don't leave me behind.
Where you going, George?
Don't leave me behind. George is a well-traveled dog now. Huh? I gotta ask George we never did ask George what his favorite part of the experience was, huh?
George's favorite part was
probably he liked being on that little beach in Clearwater down there.
I think it was.
He's like, I like hanging with Elvis. His ears just went up like, WTF. Oh, shoot. Carl says the bacterial balance out, Sue. I believe that, Carl. I mean, just closing that hole. But boy, I'll tell you, it just felt like somebody had a knife stuck in my stomach. That was super painful. So good news is if I have a bad night, I usually have a good night the next night. So I'm hoping everything is, it's back to work.
Great.
Yeah, great for Missy Jen too. She's like,
I need some sleep too.
I think I was up and down about 12, 15 times last night. Anyway, here comes my second piece. Delicious. The thing that always blew me away on these hangouts overnight was how do these people's spouses, how are they down with them being up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning? I mean, when I was married, my wife would have taken my my ear and said, "Are you kidding me?"
Sometimes I wonder if they even have spouses anymore.
I don't know. I'm just thinking to myself, how do you do that? How do you get your schedule all out of alignment?
Some of these people are all of a sudden living in different locations. And it's like,
It just makes me scratch my head.
maybe the spouse left. Maybe there is no spouse. But I don't care anymore. I really don't give a poop about it.
No, I mean, it's just we wake up in the morning and we see the hangout just ended like 40 minutes ago. It's like 7:30 a.m.
It's like, take your Ambien and go to sleep. It's daylight.
Or take care, Shauna. I mean, you're an exact opposite sleep cycle of the
It's
natural rhythm.
The sun is coming out. Take your Ambien.
Sun's coming up. Time to go to bed. And then
take your Ambien. Go to bed.
Like a vampire, you come out of your coffin at 2 a.m. or something like that.
Shit, that's funny.
That's pretty funny. I don't know how people do it. They got to have a hell of a constitution for that. So, Missy Jen, what do you rate that bread? Turned out pretty good, that quick bread?
It was excellent. I never had that before, and so that was really, really good.
Hey, Mallory, nice to see you.
Hey, Mallory.
Yeah, I mean, you do that for us, Joseph Kane, because we're on a different time schedule. We get that, but I just don't know how people 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning are just sleeping during the day and then being up all night. And you have spouses and family and stuff, and it's like unbelievable.
Well, Joe, it's like you're just awesome. You're here to see us,
yeah.
and we really appreciate that a lot because you're awesome.
Yeah, Mallory, we're just enjoying the cinnamon oatmeal raisin bread there. Just slice that up a little bit. Very simple, quick bread to make. Probably takes 5 minutes to whip together. Let it cool down and whip up a little glaze on top of it, and it makes it a special treat for breakfast. Right, Georgie? Huh? Are you happy, boy? Yeah, it turned out really good, Mallory. I'm very happy. I don't know if you ever do any baking. I know Ellie does a lot of baking. I think Ellie and I really probably enjoy baking most in the community because it's challenging. Anybody can be good at baking, but to be great at baking is a real, you start to put your own twist and your own stuff on.
Yeah, you have your own little secret ingredients.
Yeah. Once you master
twist on it.
Once you master the techniques, then it, yeah. Thank you, Mallory. Says I love that mini baking video. Yeah, it's nice to just crank out something. I've been feeling so funky with this stomach situation yesterday.
Yeah, George is like, where is mine?
Where's yours, Georgie? Huh? Georgie
He's
had
like smacking his lips. Like,
he had his Little Caesars breakfast.
Yeah, he had his Little Caesars.
Steak or prime rib.
The routine is like getting up, and then the first thing is go outside, eat breakfast. He'll have his Little Caesars wet food, and then go party outside. That's the morning routine.
That's it. Yeah. So Carl says, I think everything except the flour was low carb. Well, it had the raisins in it. It had the cinnamon. What else did it have? The milk. It had oats in there. Oatmeal too. Oatmeal cinnamon raisin bread. And I think the oatmeal gives it a nice chew factor in there. It gives it. I love oatmeal. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Oatmeal cookies.
Makes it nice and fluffy.
Yeah. I always loved oatmeal, especially in baking and cooking. I think everybody's still asleep from the all-night overnight hangouts and stuff. George said, I'm ready to get back on the road again. I'm going back to Florida. George, you going back to Florida? So I don't know what's going on. I guess the NCAA tournament rolls on today. Delicious.
So what is everybody doing today? Anybody getting ready for their garden?
Well, I think Joseph Kane is passing into
Autumn,
fall now.
Fall season, yeah. Joe is getting ready for fall season now.
I don't know how much different is in where he is down in the Western Australia near Perth. I'm not sure how much seasonal change you get down in there. You know, June 25th compared to December 25th. Lynn said, I'm not doing anything. I like that, Lynn. I like that.
Yeah, that's a bit.
It's a good day to catch an exhibition baseball game, huh? Judith says, not much. I have the flu. Yeah, this is kind of peak season for problems. All right, Linda said, just got here. Onions in and white potatoes are in and beet seeds are in. Awesome. That's it. Sitting on my front porch, sipping my early afternoon coffee. Thank you, Judith. We just featured our oatmeal cinnamon raisin quick bread today. We may have rain, snow on Tuesday. No garden stuff yet. Autumn here, but hotter than summer. Okay. Well, our plan, since we didn't really get out, I didn't feel well enough to attack the gardening this week. We have, Jen has a visit down with her neurologist in San Francisco this Wednesday. So we'll be heading down there early. And then I think next weekend we'll try to attack start to prep the garden and all that.
Yeah, Friday have the doctor's appointment.
Yep. So Saturday, I think we'll head over and we'll pick up our soil amendments, get ready to maybe pick up our tomato plants. Yeah, Jalen says at 3 a.m., one hell of a constitution. That's what I say. Some of these people are hardcore, man, I'll tell you. We're lucky. Joseph Kane sent us many photographs of the beautiful place he lives down there in Australia. And I've never seen a home, lot, and house as beautifully manicured and tended as Joseph Kane's home in Australia.
Beautiful. Joe has the most beautiful home I've ever seen my whole life.
I mean, I know he said it's like artificial turf, but it looks good down there on his lawn, and just the way his home sits there off the street. It's really, really beautiful down there. Beautiful. You just do a good job, Joe. And of course, your wife passed away a year and a half ago, but you've kept on keeping on, you know, and kept your standards very high, which is really cool. Lynn says, I'm going to watch NASCAR this afternoon. You know, a lot of, my dad was never quite the same when my mom passed away. I mean, he did get remarried, but something was a little different with him. A little bit of his zest went out for life, but I have to tell you, Joseph Kane, you've kept right up on, engaged and very, obviously very occupied by life. You know, you got the wonderful family and everything else, so that helps. That helps a lot. I think losing a spouse comes down much harder on men than it does on women. There we go. Joe says, if I don't look after it, she'll haunt me. That's great. Joe, Joe, the windows are dirty. Clean those windows. It's a nice place to live, though. The flowers,
everything.
It's incredible.
Beautiful botanical garden.
Beautiful being on the bay there, and all the boats, and the quality of life is so high. You know, everybody's always taken by Sydney, 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 and what's on the NSW side, the the east side of Australia, but the west side is beautiful too. Hi, Monty. I'm a little better. By 9 o'clock last night, I was starting to get a little distressed. Here's the bread again, just in case you missed it. We just cut up our glazed cinnamon oatmeal raisin quick bread. It turned out beautifully chock full of raisins. Jen rated up pretty good, huh, this morning?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think we killed about half that loaf, so Jen has something nice to eat for breakfast tomorrow. So, yeah, I think about 9 o'clock, after 4 hours of the hangout, I was kind of done last night. Yeah, how did you know the windows were dirty? Yeah, it's funny.
We've been peeking in with Google Maps.
The other thing is that, yeah, it's probably not that fatty. You know, this whole loaf only has 1/4 of a cup of butter in it, which is amazing. A lot of quick breads will use a cup of butter and stuff. Yeah, it was a good hangout. I enjoyed the hangout a lot last night. But after about 4 hours, Jen and I had been going to bed about 7:30 at night. So with my stomach pain, I just wanted to go to bed and just turn the lights off. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you, sweetie.
Hi, Diane.
So about 9 o'clock last night, and I probably shouldn't have drank a couple beers, but I did. But it was St. Patrick's Day. It's no oil in it, so this is really not. I wouldn't say this is a very rich cake, Jen. 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, a cup of oatmeal.
It's very light.
Half a cup of packed brown sugar. Yeah, very little oil and stuff. Most quick breads don't have a lot of oils and fats in them, so yeah, this was good. I would definitely redo this recipe again, and this is something you could do on the road, like if you're in Florida or something like that. You just take a pan with you, and make sure you take a mixing bowl. And even on the road, no matter where you are, this would be an easy thing to whip up for breakfast. Because if you do stay at a place like Florida and winter over, Missy Jen, you could find yourself getting fat if you're at Purino's every morning eating those big breakfasts and all that stuff. You really have to moderate your diet. Another thing I bought this week, guys, I bought a juicer. I bought a Krupp juicer. So we have all these beautiful Valencia oranges on the tree, but for me to hand squeeze them is very difficult. So I got this really nice Krupp thing. It twirls, and you just push the orange down on top of it, and it comes out there. So I'm really looking forward to. I don't want to waste. You know, we grow all this. We grow probably half a ton of fruit here on the rancho, and I don't like to waste any of that. So it's gonna be good. I think we're gonna try to make some plum jam this year, and maybe do an orange marmalade too. Yeah, MB says you're gonna be so happy with the juicer. Couldn't live without mine. Yeah, there we go. Mallory said, I thought the 4-hour hangout was genius enough to have a good time, but not long enough for people to get antsy and go off the rails with drama.
Hi, Mikey.
Mike, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, I think it's a nice appliance because we're finally we're going to get a lot of production off the orange trees.
Yeah, there's a lot of fruits.
We have a Travita orange. We have a Washington navel. We have a Samuto, which is a Palestine also called a Jaffa orange from Palestine, Israel. We have a Robertson Navel orange. We have a Seville, which is the sour orange that you use to make English marmalade. You need to use sour oranges. And we have a that little mandarin, a Kushu mandarin, the little mandarins out there. And we have our lemon tree. So we have a lot of citrus here. And everything is basically finally got some blooms on it. So it's going to be a big production. Bye, MB. Take care. Hey, how you doing, Kelly? Nice to see you. Nova Gina in the house. How you doing today, Kelly? Nice to see you, honey. Hope everything's going good for you. And we just finished having our breakfast, a little bit of the cinnamon oatmeal raisin bread. Quick bread. Turned out real good. Joseph says, I miss the orangers I used to grow. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 varieties of oranges, 1 variety of mandarins, which are the little ones, and then a lemon. Our great Meyer lemon. That's good. No, Mikey, it was kind of rough last night. 9 o'clock last night, I had to bang the hangout to a close. My stomach started jumping in knots. Carl says, is the tree you shock trim getting blooms? Yeah, that Jaffa Samuto, actually shock trimming that, Carl, worked out pretty good because for the first time in years, there's legitimate blossoms on that tree. You know, it was real hard. I took the hedge clippers and I really clipped that orange tree because I got tired of year after year. It was just growing bigger, but there wasn't any blooms on it. So I shot the hell out of that thing. And now I'm seeing, Carl, some really legitimate blooms because these Jaffa, this orange is a very special variety. You don't see it too often in California. It's the market orange of the Middle East. It's the one if you're walking down the streets, I guess, in Jerusalem or something, and they have the side stalls with all the produce. It's that orange, reddish orange that you'll see that they sell over there. So I wanted to have that variety to see what it was like. So, hi, Brenda. Nice to see you, sweetie pie. Kelly says, I wasn't feeling good lately. I think it's dehydration. Yeah, you got to make sure in your environment down there, Kelly, that you're drinking lots of water. Yeah, Mike said, follow the doctor's advice. I'm thinking till you get well. Yeah, I'll probably wait till next week to have another, maybe Friday night. I'm going to try baking a Montreal cheesecake, which is the biggest, which is the most complicated and biggest cheesecake on planet Earth. I'm going to try to do that, I think, Friday night for teeny weeny bikini baking. Joseph Kane said, we just had the Crab Fest this weekend, 2 days. Oh, I do love crab. How about your crab imperial on toast in Baltimore?
That was the best, yeah.
Let me tell y'all, in Baltimore, they know a little something about the crab there. Huh?
Yeah, they do.
Huh?
The best.
If you haven't seen Missy Jen's 2 glorious days in Baltimore with her crab cakes the first night, and then that unbelievable crab imperial on toast that second night.
Was
They know something about the crab in Baltimore there, so it was good. And then the whole city didn't look too bad, wheeling through. And,
yeah, looked pretty good. Lots of new
renovations and
new buildings.
Yeah,
cleaned up pretty good.
Oh no, Carl's like, I had crabs in Korea. Oh wait.
Yeah, that's a different kind of crab stuff.
Yeah, I love crabs, Joseph Kane. I'm thinking of booking, we have, our crab season ends April, so I'm thinking the 23rd of March, I'm going to book Missy Jen and I for a Friday night out at the Tides Wharf and Restaurant. They have the crab feed out there. You have to make a reservation, so it's kind of like the last time you can do that. Might be worth the 15-mile drive out to do that for Friday night foodies, because obviously I didn't feel like Friday night foodies this week, but we'll be back on track again. We've had quite a few new restaurants that have opened in the area, and a lot that we still haven't tried out in the area too. So the quantity of videos will be going up again, and that'll be a good thing. Carl, I'll be back in the shop this week trying to finish the 7065 Sony. I need to recap the amp board. And hey, Tanya, nice to see you, sweetie. Got some work to do on that and try to wrap that up and get that on the wall of sound, finish that up, and might be time to tackle that big Raphael Light Chinese amplifier there. Yeah, it's going to be something to finally finish that up. That's been on the bench for about 6 weeks now. So I'm hoping to finish that up. Yeah, I thought you were booking a trip down here when you said that. You know, Joseph Kane, I would love to come down to. I actually have more interest in Western Australia and Perth than I do in the eastern part. Actually, more in southern Adelaide and Melbourne and Perth than I do in the Sydney area. I just think that the quality of life on the West Coast just happens to be better, and I've got some. Hey, Patch, nice to see you. Happy Sunday to you. That plane behind us is an AWACS plane, near and dear to Jen's heart. So I will leave it. I will leave it at that. That's a model of an AWACS plane from Air Base in Germany over there. Missy Jen, a woman of mystery. Let's just say she knows how to fly a drone. We'll be getting that drone flying again too. Some good stuff coming up. What's happening, Patch? George, you turning into a lazy old dog. Yeah, Patch, we just finished trying our cinnamon oatmeal raisin quick bread there. Yeah. Mikey Mike said, everyone is saying how much better the hangout was last. No screaming and all the panel. I had a chance. I enjoy hearing sweet terror for change. Yeah, we, you know, I would challenge everybody else to try to have a hangout without talking about Elvis, you know, and then they'd be forced to really come up with their own content instead of piggybacking on the back of somebody else. So yeah, it's pretty good, Patch. It's actually not even that fatty. You know, that thing has for that whole loaf only half a cup of brown sugar and a quarter of a cup of butter. It's actually a very slim cake. But I appreciate that, Mikey Mike. I'm just too bored to talk about Elvis. I have, Patch. Yeah, I saw you had a hangout. Patch doesn't. Patch talks about amendment. That's not directed at you, Patch. I'm saying you do run your own show, which I'm very appreciative of. And that, you know, today I will be listening to your hangouts, as Jen and I usually do on Sundays, or when you have a hangout, we usually put that on in the background and listen to it. So, yeah, I think you run a really good hangout, Patch. And, you know, some people tend to be obsessed about the numbers and, you know, and channel building, and other people are more obsessed with content and quality than piggybacking off the back of somebody else. And I think that that's a really good positive thing. Hi, Drew. Nice to see you.
Hi, Drew.
It was like Jen said to me last night. How much more can be said about Marshall that hasn't been?
It's the same spiel over and over and over and over and over and over. It's like a broken record.
So if you talk about that last night, I'm packing my shit and moving out.
It's like if I hear certain things again and again and again, one more time, that's it. I'm pulling the plug.
The reason, Linda Francine, it's called channel building. That's all it's about. I mean, anybody that ever expects Elvis to change or to go away has got a hard reality coming their way. And the sooner that people recognize that, the healthier I think the whole community will be. That's why they have the unsubscribe and the do not watch feature on those things, so you don't have to worry about it. Well, I think, Linda Francine, you tend to grab for higher hanging fruit. You're always not looking to pluck the low hanging fruit and all that. So it's very difficult to, to get out there and run your own program. But it's a good thing to be in the long run. It's a good thing to be. But that's neither here nor there. So, I mean, everybody has a right to watch what they want, be engaged in what they want.
That's right.
But we've just chosen to just disengage from that now. We got bigger fish to fry with trying to get Florida nailed down for next year. Yeah, I can tell you are, Patch. Because you have a high degree of self-actualization, that if you feel good about what you're doing, it doesn't matter who's watching, or it's all about having and learning from other people on the panel and engaging them and changing opinions. Joe said you went through Kansas. I get a lot of my clothes from there. Yeah, I can't even count the number of times I've been through Kansas. You don't see a lot off of 70, but I would like to explore Russell, Kansas. I'd like to look around Goodland, Kansas, in the high western, the high plains. I'd also like to look around Salina, Kansas, and Manhattan, Kansas, also around Topeka, down where Jeff T. Rowe is down there. I think that'd be a fascinating place to explore. Hey, Ozzy, how you doing, mate? I'm gonna send you down a piece of cake. Huh? Yeah, usually Pat says, I have to say I'm blessed by the reaction, people coming and hanging out to see what's going on. Yeah, the thing with you, Pat, usually our sleep cycle's a little different than yours, but we do find ourselves clicking on your hangouts the next day and then just rolling them and then just listening to them while we go about doing other stuff. Kelly says I would spend the whole summer in Yellowstone Park if I could. I've never been to Yellowstone. That's it, Ozzy. I got other ways to get to your heart, though. And you know what I mean, baby. Everybody loves Ozzy, don't they? Huh?
Yeah, Ozzy.
Everybody's boyfriend on that. Everybody's boyfriend on YouTube. Kelly, what do you, Yellowstone Park? I've never been to Yellowstone. I really don't have. This is going to sound bad. This is something that Elvis and I have in common. Is, and I don't know about Missy Jen. I have zero interest in countryside. I have zero interest in parks. Zero interest in being out in the woods and things. It's just not my thing. It's like Elvis says, I'm an urban van dweller. I'm like kind of the same way. I like to be where all the services are. I like to be where all the restaurants are. I like to be where all the activity is. That's much just me. I mean, it's not Missy Jen, but it's me to really be in an urban place and urban boondocking. I'll be doing some urban boondocking this spring in San Francisco and stuff like that. So, but for me, I like to be where the action is. I feel scared if I'm out in the countryside, to be honest with you guys. I feel petrified with the dark and the quiet. I don't think I could sleep in that environment. I just don't think I could feel comfortable. I'd rather be parked in a ghetto of Oakland with small gunfire discharging all night. I'd feel more comfortable in there. Pat says, before I move back east, I want to visit Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon. Yeah, you big sucro. That's what I am. Hey, now there we go. Mikey Mike says, I made a bread similar, but I also put canned apple filling pie. It's yummy, but needs refrigerated. Now that sounds really good. Imagine, Jen, instead of the raisins, balancing the liquids a little bit, and putting a can of apples in there. Canned apples. Now that sounds like a darn Good idea. Yeah, Aussie says I'll hold down the countryside for you. Yeah, Aussie, because you're on the lam from the law there in Australia, right? You're out in the outback, out in the bush hanging out. Oh, Aussie's in a truly undisclosed location.
It's sometimes nice when you can go out in the middle of nowhere in nature and just there's nothing. It's just the birds, the bees. You can hear the butterflies flapping through the air. And that's it. There's no sound of human interference. It's beautiful.
Oh, if we were to drive, here's the way we would drive from NorCal to Florida, just reversing our route. One day to San Diego from Santa Rosa. You're looking at 545 miles, something like that. That's day one. Day two would be to Yuma, Arizona, a relatively short ride of about four hours because you'd love Yuma, Arizona. Day three would be just like we did before, down to El Paso. Day four would be to San Antonio. Day five would be to New Orleans. Day six would be to Tallahassee. It would take about 7 days to about a week comfortably to get to Florida. Carl says Elvis could not survive 1 day in the wilds. I'm not even sure if I could, Carl. I fear wildlife. I fear everything out there. Like I say, I'd be more comfortable in the ghettos of Oakland overnighting in a van there than I would be out in the wilds of the countryside. I know how to adapt. I know my environment there in that kind of situation. So Kelly says I used to eat squirrel when I was a kid. Wow.
It's nothing better than walking to the trips into the woods, not knowing if the next grizzly bear is lurking around the corner behind the next tree.
I'll be like, well, there's a rattlesnake, there's a scorpion, right? There's a coyote. It looks hungry as hell. Yeah, now what? Oh, there's an elk gonna charge me. Oh, cool. Hi, nice elk, nice elk. Unbelievable. Yeah, Ozzy, I'm a city girl through and through. I mean, I'm ghetto born and raised, honey. That's my environment. That's my natural wilderness jungle. Carl, do they even have canned opossum? Carl says, have you ever tried canned opossum? That must be a very limited demand item. That's right. They gear up the factory for a 1-day run, right? What's it called? Granny Clampett's canned possum? Damn good eating. Damn good eating there. I couldn't even imagine. I hate the way possums are mean little devils.
Possums also carry all kinds of disease.
Oh, canned possum and sweet potato. Interesting. I think I had possum before when I was small. I don't recollect whether I particularly had any thought about it one way or another. Yeah, I think I remember it's a very greasy, it's like raccoon. If you've ever had raccoon, that's a very gamey, greasy meat too. No, I've never been on a cruise. I'm trying to talk Jen into a cruise, but may not happen. We may delay our travels to Florida to go to Hawaii in January. I'm not sure yet. So one good thing of continuing to work overtime is there'll be plenty of money. I don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Mike says, I live in the middle of the woods now. Wildlife everywhere. Bears, bobcats, you name it. That's nice. That's nice. Like I said, just the thing that appeals to me is urban boondocking, be in the middle of like getting away with boondocking in a place like San Diego or LA and enjoying all the sights, the sounds, the food. Yeah, Diane says she couldn't eat a raccoon. They're just too cute to eat. I know, with their little black paws and their little black eyes. Are you going to put me on the menu tonight? I don't think so.
We had bobcats in Missouri all the time sitting up next to the highways out there. Bobcats galore.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything. I
Cougars.
don't know if Carl says raccoon meat can be good if it's roasted. Oh, Patch, are you south or north of LA? Patch says I live in. Are you like in Oceanside around there? Patch says we got a lot of Navy down in Oceanside down there. We're going to be in LA in May. We're going to meet up with Diane down there and have some fun. Spend a day with her, and then take Missy Jen down to Santa Monica and hang out there. Show her all around LA. It was the first time she drove through just through the edge of downtown. Beaver's also very great tasting meat. Interesting. Muskrats too. Oh, closer to Simi Valley. Okay, cool. Yeah, we came through Irvine. Jen saw a little bit of Irvine rolling through. Thank goodness for the HOV lane, huh? The diamond lane's coming through.
We were shining bright like diamonds.
Shining bright like diamonds, running those diamond lanes, baby.
Shining bright like the diamonds.
And I think Missy Jen will quite enjoy LA. Looking around. I think she's particularly interested in driving through Beverly Hills and the old Hollywood areas. I want to take her up to Yoshimura's up on top of the Hollywood Hills there, where I spent Thanksgiving. You have that beautiful view.
See that.
You have that beautiful view over LA at night. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, Patch says, my wife says that's right over the hill from us. Yeah, so it's a nice area, Patch. I wouldn't be in any big hurry to get back to the East Coast, that's for sure. Yeah, my daughter was thinking about going to UC Irvine until she saw the mascot was the anteater. She says, "Oh hell no." She ended up choosing Berkeley. Oh, DragCon is in LA in May. Yeah, I'm covered up with big groundhogs. They don't appear to be very skittish towards people. I don't know what. I guess rats is the only wild animal we see around here once in a while, Jen. Huh? Rats and birds.
Rats and birds.
Rats and birds. So, you kind of live in a not a ghetto area, but you're going to see people with varying levels of cleanliness and living habits and stuff. So, Diane said Irvine is beautiful. I see a lot of concerts there. Yeah, Irvine just seemed a little too sterile to me, Diane. It just seemed to I don't know. It's all biotech and all that. I showed my daughter a video when someone rang and said they towed his van. She laughed. Isn't that funny? Yeah, that hangout we had in Largo, Florida, down there. Elvis was practically crapping himself when Dave called me on the phone. That was funny as hell. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't enjoy Dave and Becca, but I kind of, I've turned around 180 degrees. It's all mockery and effery, you know that. Thank you, Ozzy. You're too sweet, honey. We love you. We love you. Well, Diane, Irvine is a very big intellectual center, right? You've got all the biotech. Biotech is huge down in Irvine. All the biotech companies down there. It's extremely advanced. It's where technology and biotechnology come together down there. So I want to say it doesn't really have a culture to me. It's like people go to work, they go home. They go to work, they go home. There's no real defined downtown or any particular attractions to say Irvine or any kind of core attractions and things that say you have a city like San Francisco or something like that, or even LA to some extent. That's my only beef with places like Irvine.
They have no wildlife either. They have no
Well, it's all canyons of concrete and highways down there. There's really, you're not really on the beach. You're pretty far inland.
It's a concrete jungle.
It's clean. I mean, it's a very, I don't want to call it a sterile environment, but I'm sure people love living there.
I've never been there.
You know, my daughter was much more intrigued by UC Santa Barbara because it did seem to have some type of ambiance to it, but she chose Berkeley because of the whole rounded aspects of that community and all the variety of people that come together there and the traditions of dissimilarity. Mikey Mike says, I'm in the southern tip of the Smokies and Blue Ridge Mountains. It's definitely different from city life. I really can't say I miss the city. Yeah, home prices are high in Irvine because people make good money, really big money. You got a lot of research scientists. You know, Irvine cranks out tons of top flight biotech engineers and stuff. I mean, it's world class down there. And I don't mean to disparage, but a lot of those people don't care about nightlife and stuff. They'd rather go home and play World of Warcraft, and you know, when they get home, and you know, they're not going out and meeting chicks and hanging in clubs. And I'm not saying they're nerds. Nerds.
This is
you get up into Bell Gardens and places like that, then you're starting to get a little bit of culture stuff. I used to play at the Bicycle Card Club in Bell Gardens and the Commerce Club up there in my poker playing days. Where I live, Wikipedia says a large percentage have 4-year degrees and higher. Yeah, of course. I mean, Sherman Oaks and Thousand Oaks, California, you have a significant Jewish population in there, which tends to be way balance out the educational averages by having advanced degrees and professional degrees and all that. Also around Studio City, California. Yeah, big time Jewish communities down there with the judges, the lawyers, the engineers, the doctors, all that. Hey, Matronista, nice to see you. That's it. Ozzy's a hardcore gamer.
Righteous. At least it's not a bag.
There we go. He's even got his 5-gallon shitter, so he doesn't have to get up. I love that, Ozzy.
That's great.
That's off the hook. That is funny as hell. Yeah, I just don't know, just the area. I guess it's Sherman Oaks down there. I'm getting there a little bit, Matronisa. That's why I had to bang that. I had to bag the hangout at 9 o'clock last night. I was just about, you know, I could feel I was starting to fade fast. My face was getting all red and flushed, and I could tell, you know, because I'd like have chills all week. Chills would come and go, and I felt like I had spiking fever and everything else, and I didn't want to evidence that on the hangout last night. So, but like I said, gotten good feedback. Yeah, Mikey Mike says, as you get older, you change. I'd rather be home than at a club. I think that's very true, Mikey Mike. I like to be cooking and baking, but I also like to be on the beach. I enjoy that enjoy that life a lot. I like hanging around younger people. I think that does a lot to keep you refreshed and younger. Diane said Beverly Hills also has a large Jewish population. Yeah, I think what's that where UCLA is? I can't. The name just slipped right off the top of my tongue. West something. Where UCLA is around there too. Wow, as he said, last time I saw a cooter was 9 years ago. That's funny. Yeah, we got to send a chick down to Aussie, you know.
Yeah.
The problem is how we're going to direct her out to the. I didn't even know you're chatting with Joseph on the side now, huh, Jen? Nice, Joe. Westwood, yes, there we go. Westwood, that's the area I was thinking about. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Matronisa said you look kind of green. I wondered if you had the same bug I had in January, and I had to be hospitalized. Yeah. I actually had gastritis, which is just a hole. Basically, a hole. It's what they used to call an ulcer. You don't hear people saying an ulcer. You hear gastritis. Basically, a hole in the stomach, and just was letting tremendous amounts of unregulated acids and stuff into the stomach, which results in daily bloating and discomfort like crazy. Now this prescription I'm on has closed up that hole and it's repairing. But yeah, we're going to go a couple more minutes and then we're going to shut it down for the day. But the main thing was just to make sure we could test this. Yeah, gastritis to the face. That's it, Carl. Exactly. Pay your taxes, Carl. Carl always tells Bobby, pay your taxes. Bobby last night, do I know Carl?
Pay it forward.
I said he's the tax collector on YouTube, Bobby. Oh, okay.
Pay it forward, people.
Pay it forward. And that's it. So I think we'll go ahead, guys, and I want to thank you for being along this morning. Matronista, always a pleasure to see you, honey. I hope things are going good for you. Jen and I worry about you so much. So many of your videos were heartbreaking when we were on our travels to, around the country and going through Missouri particularly. Ozzy, nice to see you. Joseph Kane, Carl, the tax collector of YouTube, always a pleasure to see you. Diane. Who else we got on? Kelly. Yeah, all the usual suspects here. Patch, Mikey, Mike, all you guys. We love you guys. Thanks for being along. Thank you, Diane. Love you, sweetie. And you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for being along for testing our cinnamon, oatmeal, raisin, quick bread.
Hugs, love.
Yeah, I think the gastritis might have been caused by the food poisoning, Mikey, Mike, or it might be cumulative from all the stress of driving 7,600 miles in 17 days. That could have, you never really know. Okay, Lynn, you take care too. I'm on and take care, sweetie. Thank you, everybody.